Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. It is. Did you like the video? Did you learn a little bit about Jethro and Moses? I hope so. I hope so. In fact, we're going to have a few questions here to start to see if we can remember what that story was about, what actually happened with Jethro. So I'm going to ask a question, and I'll give you a few seconds to answer. And mom and dad, if you want to, if you feel like you need a little bit more time, feel free to pause after the question, and you can talk about it with your kids, and that's perfectly fine. There may be a few discussion questions where you really need to do that, and I'll kind of try to hint you into those things. But here we go. Okay. So the first question is, who was Jethro? Do you remember? Right, right. Jethro was Moses' father-in-law. So that's Moses' wife's dad. Okay, very good. Second question. The second question is, what problem was Moses having? What problem was Moses having? Okay, right. So Moses, he was trying to lead all of Israel and answer all of their questions, deal with all the issues that were coming up all by himself. And it was more than he could handle. There was too much going on. And so he couldn't handle it all. He was getting burned out. He wasn't getting to everything. It was a big problem. All right. Then what was Jethro's advice to Moses? What was his advice to Moses? Okay. Right? So Jethro's advice was, Moses, you don't have to do this all by yourself. Why don't you get some people who you trust to help you out? And that's what they did. They ended up having groups of people that some people would volunteer to help with, and they would be able to answer the questions or deal with the issues on the smaller things. And that way Moses only had to deal with the really big issues rather than having to deal with all of it. And it freed Moses up to be able to make some good decisions on some of the bigger issues while not having to deal with everything. Right, so that was Jethro's advice there. And there's a few things I think that we can learn from this exchange with Jethro and Moses. First of all, was Jethro in charge? No, Jethro wasn't in charge. So he saw a problem, and he could have been like, huh, wow, Moses, that looks really tough. Stinks to be you. All right, have a good day. He could have done that, but he didn't, did he? He saw that there was a problem, and he thought, I think I know a way to help. And he was willing to help. He was willing to give some advice there. And sometimes that will happen with us, where we may not be the person who's doing a project or in charge of something, but we may see a problem that needs to be fixed. Or maybe we see a place where, or a way that we can help to improve things. And so we can offer that advice, or we can offer to help like Jethro did. The other thing that Jethro didn't do is Jethro didn't say, Moses, I'm sorry, but you're not doing a very good job here. I'm going to take over because you don't know what you're doing. He didn't do that. He didn't try to take over. He didn't try to stand in the glory and make everyone say, hey, look at how awesome Jethro is. Rather, he just gave some advice so that Moses could be more successful in what he was doing. And so when we seek to help people out, it's good to do that in a humble way, in a way that doesn't say, hey, everyone, look at me and the great thing that I'm doing. Rather, we can just be happy to know that we're helping out. Happy to know that the person who we're helping is going to do a better job, or maybe that the group that we're helping is going to be able to be more successful. So that was one thing. The other is what we learn from Jethro's advice. And this is kind of what they were talking about in the video there. That Jethro's advice was, you don't have to do this alone, Moses. And that's good advice in general for our lives. We don't have to do this alone. There's going to be a lot of times in your life when you'd be better off if you can get some help. Because it's just hard to do some of these things that we have to do all by yourself. And so it's good to have other people who can help you. I can tell you that for the church here, I really need everyone's help. And you guys have been awesome in giving help. There are some things that I can't do very well, but some other members of the church can do really well. And by them being willing to step up and do those things, it helps the whole church. And then, quite frankly, there's just more to do in the church than I could handle. And so having everybody chip in and be a part of it and be able to help helps the church to be able to succeed, helps the church to be able to reach more people for Jesus, which is a great thing. Now, we're not able to meet as a church right now, but you are in your family, right? And in a family, that's another place where we can help out to help things to go a little better. So here's another question for you, and this would be a good one to pause and really just talk about with your parents. But what are some ways that you might be able to help out in the family, maybe help out around the house, that would kind of help everything else to go better? I'll let you talk about that. All right. Did you come up with some ways? Now see, here's the thing. When we do these things, kind of like what Jethro did, where he just helped out, but he didn't try to get everyone to come say, hey, look how great Jethro is. We can do these things without necessarily saying, hey, everybody look at me and look at how awesome I am for doing this. But just be happy and humble about what we did, happy to help out. So think about some of those ways that you can help here, or maybe even ways that you can help later on when you're in school or in a sports team, or even back at church when we start meeting together again. You know, even when you're young, there are some great ways that you can help and good advice that you can give. Sometimes I've learned more from our younger members than from some of the older members at times, because it's just neat how you all can see different things. And it's really true for everyone. Everyone kind of has a different perspective on things, different way of seeing things. So whatever your situation is, whether it's at home or at church or at school or on a team or wherever it might be, always be looking for those ways that we can help people out and do so in a way that's humble. It doesn't seek to get everyone to say, look how great I am, but rather just seeks to help either the person who's leading or the group as a whole. Let's say a prayer. Dear Jesus, and you can repeat after me. So let's start that again. Dear Jesus, thank you for serving me. Thank you for being humble and for dying for me. Help me to serve others. Help me to serve humbly. And help me to show your love to others. Amen. Amen. All right. Well, there is also an activity for you this week. We're going to be making some friendship reads. And so you can find out information about that in the post here and be able to enjoy that as well. Have something to be able to help remember some of the things that we talked about today. So have a great week. I will see you again next week. And God bless.